Okay, folks, there isn't really a whole lot more for me to do with this game. I mean, I'm pretty close to done, but I'm just gonna do a little bit of a... It's weird to say that it will be relaxed, because I'm gonna be just going through as much content as possible, as fast as possible with the game, but here we are. Sort of a relaxed, one last little send-off to this game, as I try to get into a position where I can afford the rest of the gear, get myself to max HP. Not so much getting those last 3 platinum bolts. I don't think we need those for true 100%. And also, they're kind of driving me up the wall. And by true 100%, I mean unlocking the rest of the special menu. Like, we might unlock one of the movie categories, but that's it. I don't remember. Shortcuts. We can go to a couple places, but we don't have the big one unlocked, which is the Insomniac Museum. I guess so. I guess that's like absolute 100%, but not, oh, you've unlocked things 100% or something. Random stuff. You might get something in here for this. Space-ish Wars. We saw this before, I think. No. Oh, this is like a 2-player asteroids type of thing, isn't it? At least we can exit out of that easily and get back attacked and lose our, like, 15 times multiplier we had. That sucked. Oops. Paintings. We can see some of these. These are pretty cool. I put this one up as, like, one of my ad images on Twitter to advertise the stream, because it was really good looking. Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, these paintings are pretty cool, so that's genuinely a great thing. Ooh, first-person mode. I didn't get to show this off. So, first-person mode, it works basically how you'd expect it to work. The trigger buttons, L2 is to fire? Okay, and R2 is not, so we can't use our lock-on mods here. L1 also fires. Okay, so that still works. Square button, we can only throw the wrench because we're in first person, but yeah, left stick move around, right stick to rotate your view. It is incredibly unwieldy and not recommended for serious play, but what it is very cool. We don't have the last cheat open yet. As you can tell, we're still missing 2 skill points. We don't have all the guns. We don't have our nanotech maxed out. But we're getting there. And unsurprisingly, I am just stockpiling cash in order to be able to afford the most expensive things first. Because, quite frankly, getting experience won't necessarily be that hard to do. And also, the heavy bouncer, which is upgraded now to, I think it's the ultra heavy bouncer. Yeah, they go from mega to ultra. This thing is really strong. Like, it's kind of disgusting that they let me get that for so cheap of an upgrade. It's kind of... Yeah, if you don't think this is a good weapon, you're a fool, or you haven't played this game. Because it does excellent work in terms of cleaning up large areas of enemies. And you equip that lock-on, and you go up against single enemies, you can still tear them up pretty good. There's only a very small number of things that are actually fast-moving enough in a large enough area to make the weapon a bad choice against them. But yeah, I'm mostly doing this because, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% prepared to do anything else today. I didn't have anything else set up. I mean, I guess I could have gone and dug through the shelves and just grabbed a different PS2 game or something. My copy of Violet showed up, so I gotta poke at that pretty soon. Start Sonic 06. I'd have to actually set the PS3 up and download the There's some patches for that, right? So I'd have to download that, and then that'd just be a pain. I'll do that. I will do that soon, though. Probably at the start of next week. I have a feeling that whatever I do on Friday is not going to be that. It's probably going to be something a little bit more... Maybe it's something a little bit more lighthearted, because I assume that Friday is still going to be, again, it's probably a little silly for me to care because I don't have an audience and I don't know of a good way to build one. And I'm so, bad at advertising and stuff like that. Well, I mean, that may be a possibility. I don't know what I'm doing yet. But regardless, I'm assuming that what extremely few people would pass through here and be like, hey, I want to watch this stream. There is a non-zero chance that the amount of Americans in there, which, that Americans do kind of rule the internet on a certain level. Massive footprint relative to their population in the world, which is not small either. So, Black Friday, basically, is what I'm saying. I know that a lot of the Black Friday stuff has extended on the internet in the other direction, over that. Like, I just got a couple of... I'm pretty sure I got, all my stuff done shopping on, Amazon and shit like that. Which we're all doing... All the big Black Friday sales were starting as early as this Monday. So... I'm sure that there's some people who that won't be the case for, but, I would imagine that there's still going to be a not zero amount of people taking part in the weird capitalist tradition. One of many that we have in this country. Weird capitalist traditions, that is. Baraka Friday. I mean, I'm sitting here how hard would it be to actually set up emulation on MK2? Because I've always had kind of a pain in the ass running MAME, and I'd probably want to do stuff using the arcade machine. Barack Obama mod. Oh, that has to exist, right? That's something that'll really give you some hope. Alright, well, it's time to rebuild our ship. Also, we have to go get the glider. If it's not, then the internet is just collectively falling down on itself a little bit. Anywho, we are... Oh, wow, we're up to times 19. The max multiplier is times 20. And as you've probably been able to hash, it gets a little bit harder to raise the multiplier as you go. In order to reach a times 20 bolt multiplier, you have to kill 100 enemies without taking a hit in between. It's a little bit mean. But, ah! Okay, that thing doesn't seem to have figured out how to aggro to me, so... there we go. Gotcha. Hey! What the... Is that the same one? Maybe not. Anyway, yeah, we're up to that 20 times multiplier. That's as high as it goes. Hooray! I did it! Finally. I'm a true champion. Oh, I'm sure that there's a surprising amount of people who do, actually really good action figure stuff. I'm kind of impressed with a lot of it. I wish I had that kind of talent for anything. Unfortunately, I'm just not that level of good with my hands. I mean, anyone who's seen me play video games can attest to the fact that I'm not exactly great with my hands, but whatever. Because let me tell you, if I knew how to do a lot of that stuff, I would have quite a few ideas. In all likelihood. I'm not saying they'd be good, but I'd have ideas, that's for sure. We could probably just take the warp back for the glider, but I don't know, this seems right. Anyway, yeah, we'll see what I do on Friday. It'll probably be something a little more casual than this. And even this is going to be a pretty casual day. Screw it, we're going to teleport back. That doesn't count as taking a hit, I don't think, so our 20 times... Oh no, I can't go back yet, never mind. I believe our 20x is preserved. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, we should be rolling in it from whatever we fight in the desert, provided that I don't take stupid hits. Which, to be fair, that's what happens to me the most in this game, is I take hits that I should have been very capable of avoiding, and yet... And, yet... Oh, God. Then I make that turn way too tight. So, yeah, my copy of Scarlet. My copy of Violet showed up today. But what also showed up is my copy of Sonic Frontiers for the Switch and Disco Elysium for the PS4. I already have and have played Disco Elysium on PC, but now I've got a copy on the PS4, which, honestly... As somebody who just kind of enjoys having things in the collection, having a hard copy of Disco Elysium is pretty great. That game and just the world building and the setting and everything are really neat. Also, it came with a poster with all the little skill icons. So, I'd love to get that framed and posted up somewhere in my room. So that was neat. Good use of 20 bucks. Literally the president of the Dark Heart. Yeah, nice. I remember I haven't gotten around to actually playing any of the games in the reboot, I don't think. Although I did buy Mortal Kombat 11 earlier this year because it was dirt cheap for a download-only version for the Switch. Which I don't think has all the extra content, but still. And yeah, I do kind of remember that he was... much improved from the original just in general. We'll say that, because, like, he's got more character. Plus, also, I mean, that's a pretty cool character, in my opinion. So yeah, I gotta, at some point... I've got a lot of games on the Switch I've got to play. I also bought Demon Ex Machina earlier this year. Daemon Ex Machina, I guess. There's another pronunciation, but in my head, that's demon despite the spelling. You know, kind of like how it's pronounced Aegis and stuff like that, or Aegis, rather. Unless it's spelt like I guess, like in Persona, but that's a whole other ball of wax. Anyway, yeah, so Demon Ex Machina, which I purchased, that's kind of like an Armored Core type of game. In fact, I think made partially by a lot of people who worked on the original Armored Core series. Because, hey, FromSoft makes too much money on Dark Souls and that franchise and related games to switch back over. Also, we lost our multiplier. That's a shame. But that's alright. We're in good shape money-wise. This thing is really locking onto me very strongly with its weird taser. We're gonna pick up a couple of extra crystals. We're not gonna mine too hard. But my goal right now is to get to 1.5 mil so I can buy the Zodiac and I can just be like, okay, good, I've got the most expensive weapon in the game. Now I can work on everything else. And in fact, I may actually put it to use a little bit. Just because I usually don't. Yeah. All right. Order Realm and Chaos Realm are actually part of the newer lore, right? Right, because Havoc, I think, showed up in the Mortal Kombat 10 comics. In addition to whatever may have gone on in 11, which, again, I don't really know anything off of. Right, they originated in the original series lore, but I think they made a reappearance, is what I'm saying. That when they decided to refresh the lore, they didn't just, like, ignore anything. They're recycling, or reusing, I suppose is probably a better way of putting it, everything. Which I think is cool. They're paying attention to all of it, and they're making it work. So, good work, NetherRealm Studios. It's amazing to think they came out of Midway. That's a little mean. Midway published a lot of stuff that was pretty neat on the N64, though, so I gotta give them credit there. Ah, right. Wow, that thing's really hard to break. Challenge mode stepping that up a little too much, maybe. Wow, where is that going? Why is nothing locking on properly? Well, I guess they gotta have a hook of some semblance for a future Mortal Kombat 12. Although I think there was at least some question of, like, are they going to bother doing that? And I think they probably would, because, hey, why not, right? If people like it, if the creators enjoy making it, well, the potential is there. Anyway, yeah, the money from the crystals is quite a bit more in challenge mode, so hey. I think it's just a straight, like, 10 times multiplier, but I don't know off the top of my head about that one, so don't at me, as they say.
Hey, see if you can find...
You know, we could buy that armor, but I think we're good to go for now. Don't get 8. There we go. Like, honestly, the challenge mode of this game is pretty damn easy. Ratchet and Clank 3, which, like I said, we'll handle that at some point, but it won't be right away. Because I've got a bunch of other stuff I want to do before the year wraps up. And that would kind of eat into that time quite a bit. Maybe if there's time at, like, late, you know, mid-December, we'll do that. Because, let's see, I gotta finish Dark Cloud, I gotta finish Space Station Silicon Valley. Fuck, that game is brutal. Shinnok had more charisma everywhere except for the cutscenes of Mortal Kombat Mythologies, where unfortunately they got the actor they got for him. I forget who. I don't remember who Shinnok's actor slash mocap guy. Mocap. I think it was rotoscoped for that game. For the in-battle animations. I don't remember offhand who that guy is, but. Not that kind of mocap. Don't... I'd say don't bring that up, but you know what? At this point, there's weirder things to... Anyway, yeah, the actor for him in those cutscenes was, definitely not exactly the peak of acting, even in that franchise. But, regardless, yeah, so Shao Kahn is definitely kind of looking a little bit underwhelming, huh? So do you think that we're going to get just regular old playable Shao Kahn at some point as a result of that? Because that's what I'm thinking, is just, you know, if he's just some dude, just make him playable. Not that I'm sure that I'd be like a Shao Kahn main or anything, but still. Oh, look at that. We are 1 point away from that Nano 2 the max skill point. Oh, fuck me. Shang Tsung is now based on his movie design. Nice. Especially because I'm thinking of the OG movie, where he was in, like, the leather jacket and everything. I think he was in a leather jacket in that movie. Or maybe it was someone else, but either way, it was the 90s, so there was definitely some leather jackets involved. But yeah. That movie, I haven't seen that in a bit, but it's a really good one. A lot of fun. Alright, time to go to the moon.
Hey! Remember us?
I'm gonna kick your arsenal into the next galaxy. You wanna piece of me?
That's a little intense, I gotta say. I'm gonna pause and turn down the volume on my end. That'll only affect what I hear. I don't know about the rest of you folks, but you know it. I don't want to start screaming into the mic and have it sound really obnoxious when I'm, you know, yelling a lot, because I can barely hear what I'm saying. And I gotta make sure that whatever dumb shit I just said actually is what I just said, right? Anyway, yeah, that's pretty harsh. I'm pretty it definitely sounds a little bit like, because I seem to recall not having... I did look a little bit into the lore, and my memory is quite faulty, but the lore for the retconned timeline And I don't seem to recall that being a thing in it, so maybe that was something that was changed for sometime in 11, but 11 definitely added a lot of lore, did it? Shadow197, hey, how are you doing this? Well, it's evening over here. How's it going? Doing good. Glad to hear it. I'm doing pretty solid. We are, we're in challenge mode. We're just kind of blazing through a bunch of the content, mostly because, well, we're at a position where we are in need of a lot of stuff to be able to get the last few skill points of the game here in Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. And that's the main thing I want to get out of this, in terms of finishing up our playthrough. Where's he at? There he is. Ooh, that camera swing. Oh, the flashbacks. That UFO fight was hard as fuck. I just gotta say it again for anybody who doubted for any reason. That was monstrously difficult. That's something I did like a week ago at this point, though. At PS Plus Premium, play Ratchet and Clank 1 to 3, Nexus, Crack in Time, God of War 1 and 2. I haven't played the God of War games, but I've played all of those Ratchet and Clank titles except for Into the Nexus, and I can confirm that all of them are a lot of fun. Ratchet and Clank 1 is a little bit rough, but of course, it was the first game in the series. Insomniac was still kind of finding their footing with what they wanted to do with it. And overall, the design ethic is a lot different from Insomniac's previous franchise, Spyro the Dragon, at least in my opinion. So, yeah, it can be a little bit... Oh, it was your second favorite? Well, fair enough. There is a lot to love about it. When I say it's rough, don't get me wrong, it's still a good game, but, like, compared to this one... It's one of those things, right, where... you know, what you're comparing to at the peak is so high that you take any look down and you just go, oh, ooh, is Gladiator, Ratchet and Clank 1, and Going Commando. Interesting. Well, actually, the Gladiator one is fine. I think it's an interesting change of direction. I just miss a lot of the platforming stuff. Oh, that'll be on Premium also? Neat. But yeah, Crack in Time is pretty good. I'm not as sold on the plot of the later games, I guess, but I mean... they're still fun, and that's the important part. Alright, we got him. Oh, go for it. They are... let me put it this way. You're definitely not going to feel like you've wasted any of your time with any of that stuff, so... Alright, so we've unlocked 7. Oh yeah, you couldn't beat 3. 3 is pretty rough in a lot of places. 3? Oh, jeez, oh man. Ratchet and Clank 3. Oh, baby, that game. Whew. I'm sort of deliberating a little bit because I'm trying to piece together that there was a part in the game I seem to remember on like the last couple of worlds that a lot of the enemies would do hits that were basically equivalent to half your health bar or more on the third armor. Maybe the second. It's been quite a while since I've played, but yeah. That game, things hit a lot harder. Stuff is just a little bit tougher in general. Real great set of weapons, though. And by the way, yeah, hi, Retro. I wasn't ignoring you. I was filibustering and trying to piece together, like, a chunk of my memory. Oh, absolutely. It shouldn't be a problem anymore. Favorite world? Ooh, that's real tough. A lot of them are a lot of fun. Bolts too, right? What do we got going on? Oh yeah, we got the camera bots. Oh, don't steal my multiplier, bro. I'm gonna get. I don't think I'm gonna be preserving a good multiplier in this area. Those things can be kind of a pain in the butt. There will be Planet Rilgar. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to do on Rilgar. And of course, that's the place you get the Rhino in the original game, so hey, another good reason to love it. Like asking people who their favorite Pokemon is these days. Yeah, there's a... Remember, the dex is up to 1010 species. So far, they may still patch in some other shit later. Plus, there's regional forms. I'm actually kind of surprised that Paradox Pokemon don't count as regional forms because, like I said on a previous stream, it's the same basic timeline, same basic concept, just through a different mechanic. Yeah, the games are definitely, they needed more manpower or more time on the project, to put it succinctly. But I think a lot of people have generally said that, a lot of people seem to be very much feeling that the game's mechanics are sound and that they like the overall content, just if only it wasn't so glitchy. Which, to be fair, you know, I would have been fine waiting for until 2023. We just got Legends earlier this year. And, I mean, not to be that person, but I saw that this was being announced in February, and I was like, oh boy. TPCI does not announce games over a year out. I think Game Freak was kind of run over by TPCI. Yeah, that's about what I would expect, is probably that Nintendo looked at the other parts of TPCI and were just like, no, fuck you, make it. We need the money. Which, to me, feels a little bit silly because, I mean, there's how many Pokemon that they could be flogging for merch to keep things running?
Let's see what we can get from it.
But yeah, okay, looking over at the Sly Cooper thing for a sec. Going through here. I haven't played the PS4 version of Ratchet and Clank, the original. I may have to at some point, even though it may end up being kind of a mess. But hey, why the hell not? I do enjoy the franchise in general. And I don't completely remember the Sly Cooper demo thing, but that's a very Insomniac thing to do, because they had that going on with... Oh boy. They had that going on Oh god, what was their name? Naughty Dog. Yeah, they had that going on with Naughty Dog and the Crash Bandicoot franchise back in the PS1 era, where you could play demos of the Crash games in Spyro the Dragon, and you could play demos of the Spyro the Dragon games in the Crash games. Well, I wouldn't know if they would be or not. If it's not just them doing the HD port, then they probably will be. But yeah, if it's the HD ports, I've seen only a tiny amount of video footage of the HD collection. But those are the same games, just HD version. So yeah. Yeah, regarding the TPCI thing stated before, I kind of think that I would imagine that Nintendo holds a relatively large proportion of sway when it comes to that sort of thing, mostly just by virtue of them being the biggest and, you know, having the most money. Game Freak is the smallest of those companies with 169 employees. I looked that number up recently, so I know that offhand. Creatures Inc., I think, is like 200 something, but they are not credited in Scarlet Violet as far as I know. And usually they just do graphic stuff anyway, so yeah, if the graphics are of a more questionable quality than usual, you can basically say that it's probably due to, it's potentially anyway, due to a lack of Creatures Inc. involvement. But yes, I think it would have been
Thanks for that.
responsible for crossover rules. That is potentially possible. Creatures Inc. is or was very heavily involved with the card game. I know that. I also, because I did some research for... Again, I'm doing a little video about the situation and basically being like, gee, they really should have done something to get things working a little better here. But unfortunately, somewhere along the lines, probably Nintendo was like, well, nah, we just need to push this out, and, you know, we don't want people to forget about us. Oh, by the way, we're going to have, you know, we don't want people to forget about how severely they cringed to death over... What was their 25th anniversary celebration music project? It was Post Malone covering a Hootie and the Blowfish song. There is nothing about that suggests Pokemon to me. That's just like generic 90s nostalgia. And I'm not even saying that as like a dig at either Post Malone or Hootie and the Blowfish. It's just like, I do not get why that's what you arrived at as being a part of your 25th anniversary celebration. Was, we got to get an album with, and I think there was like a Katy Perry song there too, which, okay, fine, that one I will actually, I'll actually talk some shit there. But I don't know, Post Malone seems like an okay dude. Just, you know, not my thing, but hey. It may also account, in that case... Oh, skill point. Buzzo. In that case, it may account for, because apparently there are new models for all the Pokemon. And that may account for why that was done if Creatures Inc. was not involved with Scarlet Violet. Because if they weren't involved with Scavvy, then they may not have signed off on the use of their previous assets or something. So Game Freak may have just been like, well, shit, now we have to make our own new set of... Or whoever else they outsourced it to, as the case may be. Well, yeah, we're not talking about quality here, just sheer, novelness. Mentally, I'm thinking that there's a different word that incorporates novel there. Like, nobility or something, but I don't think that's even a real word. I haven't even looked at the image, so what is... That, I believe, is why stealth systems in an RPG like that are probably bound to be a horrible mess. That slime's got a nice crown, though. But yeah, why is that camera chilling out there? Oh yeah, this is from Dragon Quest XI. I was like, is this from the new game? But no, Dragon Quest XII isn't even a thing yet. That's just been a thing that's been vaguely in the news because of Yuji Naka getting arrested as being... it wasn't just Yuji Naka, by the way. There were other people who were involved with the insider trading thing, so... Like, it's not just, oh, hey, Sonic Man did a crime, which is kind of funny in and of itself. But, like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, basically making Balan Wonderworld related jokes and about like, oh hey, Square Enix was in the right to fuck this project over, and I don't know that that's the case. Because Yuji Naka was not the only dude. Modded textures because they decrease the graphics Wait, they bumped the graphics down in the definitive edition? Question mark? That's weird, unless you're going for a style. In which case, well, I mean, what do you do? Oh, Switch port, right, okay, that... It was a Switch first, and then was ported to other things later. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Anyway, yeah, the point is that the Yuji Naka story is burying the lead, which is the fact that he also was partially responsible for the Phantasy Star franchise. Rest in peace, Ryoko Kodama. Okay, no, I'm kidding there. It is true that Yuji Naka was involved with the original Phantasy Star, but, I mean, clearly that is irrelevant. Well, you know, I gotta... The big thing there is, hey, that's one of the great advantages of PC gaming, is that you can get mods and stuff if people actually make them. I wish that a lot of documentation for modding certain stuff was better. Like, a while back, obviously completely different, and it wasn't going to be graphics-oriented, but I was looking into modding Risk of Rain 2 in order to add some things and tweak a little bit of content here and there. Just rebalance some stuff, because there's definitely some stuff in that game that needs a little bit of a fix. Both for being overpowered and for just being underpowered sometimes too. But documentation for that is super bad. Anyway, yeah, kind of irrelevant subject, but I did want to... I gotta complain at least a little bit, because I think about that sometimes and it's like, wow, you guys really need to write this shit down. And I've also had a little bit of that problem with doing, because I'm still working on a Minecraft mod pack for a couple of my friends, Bryself and his community. I think I brought that up recently, and doing certain things with Cube.js is the mod that I'm using for a lot of like recipe customization, especially for modded stuff. Like anything that stuff is just so badly documented sometimes that I really dislike it. Anyway, yeah. But that aside, if people are able to figure out how to make mods, then they absolutely will for PC games for all kind of purposes, and that's fucking rad. I love stuff like that, and it's one of the reasons why I generally prefer PC over modern consoles as a platform. Gray still plays Minecraft videos. I haven't. I don't actually watch a lot of Minecraft video-related stuff most of the time, but you know, maybe it would help out with some of that stuff. But yeah, that is definitely true about Yuji Naka. He is kind of infamous for being kind of a kind of a pain in the ass. So on some level, him going solo after that, even if it is just for mobile games that are not super complicated, may be the best choice of action for him. And, you know, I think that the world of gaming is probably worse off for, or would probably be worse off for not having Yuji Naka involved in it. Probably. It involves him breaking it in various ways. Well, that might be worth me taking some digs through. I do enjoy watching video games get broken in very interesting and ridiculous ways. Buy some ammunition. Where is the Zodiac? It's all the way over. I think his computer would jump up and strangle him at times. Damn, that strong? Well. Oh geez, yeah, that's my memory of Minecraft as well. Just the FPS going down to the single digits when I've got all that machine shop working. But when push comes to shove, you gotta do what you love, even if it's not a good idea. Right? He was removed too... Claim is that he was removed too early while trying to provide actual information on the problems with the game. The claim, it's possible his criticism was real but brought about in a non-constructive manner, making it easy to fire him. If it was contracted, he can legally sue them for not holding up their end of the bargain. Yeah. That sounds about right. Like I said... You know, basically that all just kind of scans with regard to Yuji Naka. And I could completely believe it being a much more messy situation than he is suggesting, but yeah. Alright, so now it's time to do another one of these spaceship sections.
All right.
Let's switch to our torpedoes. I think that'll probably give us some of the most DPS. Possibly. Maybe not. Well, that one went down nice and quickly. I know what the deal is with that other freak. An absolute tank of a turret. I think it's like you gotta shoot the disc or something, technically, but, One-shotting the Ender Dragon. Nice. Fuck that dragon. And yeah, you can see this is what happens when you don't shoot these things down fast enough. It becomes a pain in the ass. Anyway, how about a nuke? Where's the... Let's see, where's the last one that was fixed? There we go.
Come in, gentlemen.
I will read that statement in a second. I'm just doing these for a little bit of free money. We've seen these before, but you know what? We're doing the ones that aren't races for the extra cash. I mean, we could probably do the races too, but The boss looks like Skynet. Well, we're actually protecting the thing in the middle and just trying to blow up the little ships. But otherwise, I guess a little bit, yeah. Yeah, it had a bunch of those little orb things with the electric link on them. And if the little ships shot them, they'd eventually be destroyed. It's pretty... It's not hard to succeed at that one. If I can actually remember how to use my words correctly, then maybe I will succeed at that description. Anyway, a little bit of free cash. Let's move on to the Megacorp Armory. Let's go. I feel like that statement would be something that would pop up after he was fired. But, you know, that's just me. Just a guess based on, well... the fact that that would absolutely be the thing that would lead to you getting fired if you said it at the time. It was after? Okay. Yeah. We don't have to break those missiles. It just was... It was just a brief thing, because... Yeah. That one, however, we did just happen to blow up, so hey, nice. Yeah, true. I would be surprised if he didn't embellish the story a little bit, because... Then, of course, recently, Square Enix hasn't exactly been making themselves easy to like as a company, so... So basically what I'm saying is that Yuji Naka could be the biggest douchebag this side of David Cage in the gaming industry. And I'd still probably go to bat for him on this one because, I mean... why don't we just go ask Yosuke Matsuda what he thinks of people who play games for fun? Answer, he doesn't think they're real. So... at least that's... basically the case when it comes to that whole NFT thing, which, you know, say what you will about NFTs as a medium. I sure have, but you know, I sure have said, but more importantly, just that particular expression of the whole thing is a special level of bizarre and insane. Yeah, I'll pop that open during the transition to the next planet. I'm probably not going to get that many messages in chat, so it'll be fine. But yeah, I still haven't even resubbed to FF14, despite the fact that I've been loving playing that. Primarily off the back of the fact that it was very specifically the recent thing called like symbiogenesis or something. I think that's what it was called. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to be a Parasite Eve related project. And to be fair, that was an incredibly stupid thing for anybody to think. But I do feel that there was some level of deception involved with the way it was set up. Only for SE to go, oh, by the way, it's an NFT collection that we just pulled out of our butts. And so that left a certain level of foul taste in my mouth, on top of the fact that, again, I'm not exactly pro NFT, we'll put it that way. So Square Enix continuing to beat this dead horse. Yeah. You people get it by now, I'm sure. Like, I can only repeat myself so much in a useful way, and even then. Yeah, sure, let's just tackle these guys like we are. But yeah, it's also kind of unfortunate because, well, there are a lot of Square Enix games that I like, and I'm sure that a lot of things are coming out on the horizon. There's a Front Mission remake that is out, or is coming out very soon. I forget which, but either way, that is something that caught my attention, and I'm like, you know, I don't know how I feel about involving myself with that at this point. Or, you know, spending my own money on it anyway. That makes it sound even shittier, but... Am I close to the end? So we beat the game last time. I'm just picking up stuff in challenge mode and trying to get the last skill point. Hopefully I can grind out that level of money in the course of the rest of this stream. Because, let me tell you, there's a lot of guns to buy. On top of all of these mega weapons, I've got... Oh god, that is disgustingly expensive. I also have to pick up the Rhino 2 and the Clank Zapper. And... how much is the mini nuke upgrade? Oh yeah, let me pick those up. The Mega Mini Nuke is 1.5 mil by itself as well. Jeez. The amount of... Just the amount that I need in general. Woo, boy.
Listen up, thugs fellas. We got a big job ahead, so pay attention.
We've seen that cutscene already. Just like all of them, because we beat the game. Alright, it's time for Planet Bull, Daniel. Let me try to not screw this up. The levitator section, anyway. And back up we go. Ah, yes, what a lovely camera angle. I'm not sure what that camera angle was about, but it sure was. We're gonna go do the grind course, because we can get a nice chunk of change by breaking all the breakables over by the mod shop. It would help if I actually did it properly, but... I mean, that's just free money, and... yeah. It should be quite a bit, too. Like, it was already 6,000 or something when we were playing the normal playthrough, so... I believe it's more in challenge mode? It may not be, but even then... Well, that was very interesting. I don't know what happened there exactly. I mean, obviously I fell off. I know that, but the specifics of what kind of funny collision detection went on there, of me not grinding, like, I think the game just thought I was walking around for a second there, which is very funny to me. Hello? It did it again! The game's like, oh, you want free money, eh? Well, we're gonna make you work for it. There we go, that's better. And once I finally hashed that out, well, the rest of this shouldn't be too hard. Barring me jumping a little too early, which I'm making myself sweat a little bit here. And hey, that would have been a perfect run if that was the thing that mattered. Actually, it still was. Is the thing about that. Oh yeah, that is much improved. That was over 21k. That was actually worth the time and effort we spent with that. Just absolutely clowning on ourselves, but hey. It worked, didn't it? Unfortunately, we just lost our multiplier. Well... we can't do it yet. Actually, I probably should show off the Zodiac. I'll do that in a different room, obviously, because here it won't be very impressive if there's only, like, 2 dudes. And they're both chicken bots. You do it then, I think the game makes fun of you. Okay, not quite, but might feel like it. Alright, this seems like prime. Yeah. Everything goes up in a nice puff of blue smoke. They all die instantly. Except for the few things that were back here. Probably because its range is still a little bit limited to stop it from being completely ludicrous. And of course, one of the big things about the Zodiac, other than its massive charge-up time, which can mean that it's not necessarily going to be the greatest way to preserve your multiplier is that it costs 1,000 bolts per shot. Admittedly, we're at a point where we should, in theory, be able to use it and recover our input without too much argument. But that is still something to be wary of, is that it can be a little bit costly and that can dissuade you quite a bit. And besides, I just generally like using my regular weapons. Even with the fact that we're definitely starting to butt up against the usefulness of the ultra heavy bouncer here. Like, these guys are stout. And they have incredibly good aim. Which is preventing me from getting a multiplier higher than, like, ×6 at any point. Now, let's go ahead and grab our ammunition here. This thing, because we're going to keep at it. We're going to go and we're going to grab that one shot for the Zodiac, just to be sure. Oh! Ammo from it drops from crates? I didn't know that was a thing then. That's pretty neat. In that case... Oh, this guy is in the worst possible position. I got really screwed there. Not for nothing. I mean, I try not to complain too much about things like that. Keyword being try, I often fail. But that was definitely... That knockback was very much not my intent, and it... And you can see one of the rare instances of the bouncer causing a fairly specific kind of thing that fucks you up. Where you just shove the enemy back because you can't really control where the bouncy balls go. Ooh, those shots come in fast. Yeah, that's one of the big things that makes these so rough to deal with sometimes. Is just that they shoot and their shots travel incredibly fast. Like you'd expect a bullet too, I suppose. Even if it is a laser bullet, but, you know, maybe that would be even faster, right? But there's been plenty of enemies that have had nice pinpoint aim with not super flashy attack animations that, by all rights, should be able to easily hit you. These guys are definitely some of the ones that are the best at it. At least up to this point. Alright, let's Zodiac these dudes. Oh, that was not... They were not close enough to me, I guess. Wow. Very upsetting. Okay, not really, but definitely a little disappointing. And back up we go. Be smart and use cover here. Yeah, I know, I'm shocked too. For a myriad of reasons. Try and keep a little bit more of our multiplier, because here we're just not going to get that luxury. Yep. Actually, we managed to get away with it pretty well. So, you know what? Disregard what I said. It turns out I was wrong. All right. Oops. I forgot you can't just hold the button. That was absolutely me playing with fire a little bit there. But we're in good shape and we're keeping our multiplier. All right, come on, Hammerbot. Do your thing. These crates are actually worth a reasonable chunk of change, all considered. Drop the hammer. Not literally. All right. Hammer time. Oh, you guys are coming in. Oh, damn it. My numbers! They got me while I was in the middle of my punch animation. Well, rip the, like, 10x I would have had for this hallway. Get him, boys. They unspoilered. Rattle them, boys. Are we going the right way here? I sure hope so. Alright, hammer time. Hammer time. And that is the last of our hammer man for a little bit. I think we can just leave those duders alone and we get... Yeah, we get some microbots here to let us deal with them. And that's great because I'd like to keep... It's only 7x, it should probably be higher, but I'd like to keep it anyway. It's almost like I need several million bolts still to finish off what I'm going for here. Right, we're one short, right? Yeah, there we go. In you go, buddy. disable the power. Oh, they're having a bad time with each other there. Oh, oof. That's entirely on me. I was locked into that animation like a goon. This is not so much the best weapon to be using here, but it is the strongest weapon we have. They're both dead? Yeah, they're both dead. Alright. We are back in the ventilation shaft. Clank's currently going it alone. I'm sure our little buddy can work something out here. You crack me up, little buddy. I haven't played any of the Sam and Max games in a while. Those were pretty good. Haven't really read any of the comic either. Seen a fair chunk of the cartoon, which was also pretty great. But I just always think of the video games, or well, to an extent the comic. Mostly the video games. Oh, my bridge bot got aided. You jerks. Alright, give me a nice little drawbridge here to hover from a little further out. You know, I wonder if this is some sort of like weird super future glass, or if it's just a very similar type of glass to the sorts of things that are used for most applications nowadays. I have no idea why this particular thought just struck me, but here we are. Alright, put the hammer down. No need to salute yet, buddy. But I appreciate that they made all the big bots do salutes and stuff. Oh, neat. He's got a little idle animation with a special sound effect to it. I don't think I've got to have seen that before, but I didn't remember it, that's for sure. Alright, well, Clank is out.
Hey, check this out.
Yeah, you see, we get the third wrench, but our model didn't change. I don't think we really get the third wrench here. We just don't upgrade, which, you know, that's fine. I'm barely going to be using the wrench on this playthrough anyway, except as a puzzle-solving tool, basically, but... Speaking of tools, I'm really being a complete tool here when it comes to doing very simple platforming that I have done before. On stream, no less. I was actually screwing up some stuff earlier pretty severely. Again, that was all content that I did before and did without too much trouble on stream. So I felt like just a deep shame screwing that up. Even on my own time. Admittedly, maybe it was amplified by just being by myself. Damn. I took a hit from that fireball. I'm just not dodging these, apparently. Just resigned to my I'm gonna take damage fate. Somehow, though, I managed to dodge those.
So,
all right. This is the way to go, I believe. Infiltrate and... Not that way. I was going the right way to begin with. Yeah, it's this part of things which gave me a lot of trouble on stream. Shit. That is many layers of unfortunate. We're gonna start over on that. We're gonna let this start receding. Alright, now the timing to make this easy, I don't really know too well, but it looks like we're managing to get away with that. Don't hit the pink plasma. And we dodge the figure eight. Okay, well, that works. Alright, now it's off to Planet Gorn for some spaceship stuff. Alright, so we got 4 big ships to deal with here. Try to barrel roll our way out of all the enemy shots. It's not quite like Star Fox where that stuff just reflects off of you when you barrel roll, but that would be a little silly anyway. Come on. Oh, no, we don't need that. We'll just take out the nuke for the last ship. Oh, that wasn't a one-shot. Damn. Alright. Well, it didn't take very long.
Well, it looks like the thugs moved Angela out of...
Alright. Woo! Yes! One shot and a quick 250k. I want to do that again. Let's see if we can pull that off a second time. Yes! Well, if it's just that easy, that's a lot of free money very quickly. Ah, we missed one. That's alright, we can find it pretty easily. Let's do that one last time. 3 this time. Wow, that nuke is really sleeping on the job or something. Meanwhile, the mine is doing its work. Alright. Fine, fine, fine. We'll go and fight the ghost ship. Alright, so let's fire the nuke into the ghost ship. Or, remember to do it when it's actually solid, you idiot. Which I guess means when it's red. Yeah, see, it's partially clear right now. It's very hard to tell sometimes. That should hopefully clean up some of the jerkwads in the area. And we're gonna do a nice little flip like that. Alright, I'll be taking that 300,000. And we move on to this place. And yeah, we're pretty close to being able to buy that mini nuke, which is going to be the next thing we get. Again, it'll make me feel like I got something else to do, and plus, on top of that, it is the most expensive thing in the inventory. I did something real dumb there. Secret Village to the Spellcasters. Yeah, I seem to recall seeing that and being like, that's a little bit silly. I mean, theoretically, there are more obnoxious field cards to play against, like Chicken Game and Mystic Mine, but Mystic Mine is gone. And Chicken Game, I think Chicken Game is gone as well, but if nothing else, certainly it's time as a thing that I used to see with a fair regularity. I think that's definitely over. Do you guys feel like getting Zodiac'd? No, they don't. But something else did? I don't know what happened, but I got a little bit of cash out the deal, so okay. And yeah, you can get Zodiac ammo from the crates. There's a confirmation of a thing that we had already confirmed. That's kind of cool, actually. That means that it approaches the status of being a viable weapon. I still wouldn't probably choose to use it as, as my first choice most of the time, but still. Chicken Game is at 0. Okay. I wasn't sure if Chicken Game got banned or not. Like, I know that Chicken Game has been banned forever in the TCG. But in OCG lists, I believe it was actually legal. And I certainly recall having seen a lot of Chicken Game for a little bit on Master Duel. Mostly in the context of Exodia decks, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Chicken Game kind of sucks to play against. I mean, it's not Mystic Mine levels, but it does suck. So them getting rid of that is a smart idea. Anyway, we got our mini nuke back here. But yeah, I'm definitely in favor of putting terraforming at a place where you're allowed more of them than you are right now. To say that in general, because, hey, a lot of decks really do like having their field cards, but I do understand why it's a problem. But yeah, but really the most important thing is, hey, they got rid of Mystic Mine, and that's great. I'm still kind of quietly like, yes, yes, about that. Again, even though I haven't really played in a bit, and I don't think I managed to really play against a whole lot of Mystic Mine decks. Just the fact that it was as centralizing and as disgusting as it was is kind of, not so great. Man, hitting this thing is just impossible with these lobbing weapons, huh? Unless it's gone. I think I got it. Yeah. Never mind what I said. Impossible in this case is just sort of a shorthand for extremely hard. Not literally impossible, just nearly so. You're probably thinking that I should get that armor upgrade. Well, that might be a smart idea, but that doesn't mean that I'm willing to do it. I'll do it eventually, but first I got other things that are far more expensive to get. And this is admittedly one of a relatively small handful of places where we can lose this much progress from dying. This game is a lot nicer about checkpoints than the original. I don't think I ever really said that outside of when I was playing the original, but just to re-emphasize, yes. This game is much politer when it comes to the checkpoint stuff. That cleared out the area pretty nicely. Oh, these things are apparently fragile enough that they can only take two mini nukes. That's easy. That's good to know. Alright, everybody. It's time for nobody's favorite part of the game, the turret boss.
It's like hide and go seek. You hide, my missiles sink.
I can probably pepper him with a decent chunk of bouncer after this point, but still, this boss kind of bites.
You want something funny? I'll give you something to laugh about. Catch this!
All right. Fuck. I thought I actually shot that properly, but I didn't. Wow, I'm real bad at this, huh?
Give up now, Ratchet, and I'll spare you a painful death.
My multiplier, that doesn't matter. Especially not while we're in the middle of a boss fight.
Get ready to feel the burn.
Is this going to be the car throw? No, he's coming in for a regular, give me the eye laser. Fuck. Well, I died.
Let me show you the latest and the greatest tech technology. Why don't you
Hey, Iron Fury, how's it going? Hope you're having a nice time. Not bad, still playing Scarlet. Cool. Hope you're liking it so far. I hope that the performance issues aren't getting too bad for you. If you don't gotta, hard reset too much or nothing. Oh, we seem to have really upset this guy. Crashed twice. Well, you've had it since launch day, right? So only 2 crashes sounds like it's a number that is less than the average for a lot of people.
You want some funny? I'll give you something to laugh about. Try to dodge this. I'm coming to get you, Ratchet. Here I come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still definitely like, come on, how much money does TPCI take in? Actually, we sort of had that conversation earlier in the stream, too, of just like, yeah, somebody got a little bit screwed on this, and that somebody is Game Freak.
Catch this.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, how do you end up in this state? Aside from Nintendo just being like, yeah, well, no, we're not going to give you more time because we got to make new shirts with a different Pikachu on it. Wait.
After I'm done with you, I'm gonna take care of your little girlfriend.
For this up. Bring out some supports. We can't chew up this guy's health a little bit more. Getting fairly close to endgame. Well, at least there's that. Soon, you won't have to be concerned about all those performance issues because you won't have to keep playing the game. There's some pretty cool stuff too from, again, even just beyond what we've talked about before. Like there's that psychic type ostrich that can copy your opponent's stat boosts just as its ability. That's pretty neat. Unfortunately, I don't think it gets any moves to really abuse that by itself, but I guess that's kind of to be expected too.
My missiles sink.
Yeah, from the sounds of things, there's a memory leak issue too, which means that on top of that, you should probably be restarting the game every couple hours too in order to fix that. And by you should be, I mean the creators should have had a better opportunity to be able to finish the game. But in the absence of that, yeah, having only one save file still seems like an odd constraint. Also, yeah, you've seen before when I played this in the regular playthrough that you can shoot down that car. I just failed to do it this time.
Crush you like a little bug.
The other thing that I remember hearing about the game that I have at no point, discussed, that maybe it's just taken as, well, what do you expect? It's Pokemon, is that the tutorial can be a little bit overkill, which, I mean, sure, you got to make sure people know how to play your game, but these games have been around for so long, you should at least have some sort of opt-out if you've been able to play, if you've played them before. I'm thinking just think of the weird memory stuff you can do in and arbitrary code execution that you could do in the original games in Pokemon Red and Green, and for that matter, Blue, as we got it here in America as Red and Blue. Just imagine that with multiple save slots. But I digress. Only special attacker is a fire type.
My missiles sink. I'm coming to get you,
Right, because you took Fuecoco, and Skeledirge is a pretty good special attacker. As a self-buffing move. Self-buff and deals damage, specifically.
You can run, but you can't hide. Dance, punk, dance.
Yeah, I can imagine having easy access to a ghost type is really good. Right, that is what I'm trying to say, is that the US red and blue are ports of blue, and the red and green version, which, you know, both of them had their had very similar issues in terms of what you could do with that stuff. But yeah, like, just imagine being able to mess with memory and arbitrary code execution and stuff like that on 3 save files. Or just more than one in that period. Sounds pretty amusing to me, but eh. Earthquake and close combat, everything, yeah. They made close combat a TM in this generation, which to me seems a little bit insane. Unless they're making it really hard to amass those, because I know that nowadays TMs are no longer infinite use, they are crafted. Which, I mean, I guess that's okay, but I do think that there should be, like, hey, we have one infinite use thing and we have one single use thing. Kind of like the TM/technical record swap that you had in Sword and Shield. That was not a bad idea. Here, everything learns it. Nice. Well, okay, let's have a version of it that doesn't have the issues associated with HMs of them being impossible to erase and necessary for progression, basically creating character select forcing situations. But, yeah. I guess that's technically true. It gave Scizor close combat. Oh god, that's pretty mean. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of absurd. Alright, so we're done with that boss. We screwed up real bad, but we're done with it. And I think we've got a shield, a set of Kelonoids, and grenades to grab, right? Yeah, there we go. Grab those. We've got mini nukes, huh? Alright. Speaking of which, I guess we're making that our main weapon here. Just gotta make sure you don't have, yeah. No repeating bone creatures.
See if you can find.
Yeah, of course it gets close combat, and yeah, I remember Aqua Step, I think, is the move. I was like, that looks pretty good. They definitely gave Quaxley quite a buff there. We've got we got really good starters this time out, as far as I can tell, especially with them all having signature moves like that. Sprigatito, I think, gets a similar effect in one of its moves. I don't remember what stat it boosts, though. Oh, it has a guaranteed crit move. That's kind of... That's kind of ridiculous, actually. Especially because they've been boosting... they made the always crit moves kind of good after they first came out in Gen 5. I think they have, like, real power now. Not, like, super high, but it's not 40 like they were originally, which was just kind of pathetic. Base 70 or above. Yeah, there you go. Because I was thinking it's probably base 80 to fit with the other moves. And I forget if Frost Breath is base 80, but Frost Breath got a huge buff in Gen 6. I remember that. And then it became really hard to get on anything. So that was kind of a pain. But it was better than it was in Gen 5, that's for fucking sure. Yeah. At that point, it's 100 plus base power, ignores defense boosts. And crit is already rolled for you, so... Salt dies. Yeah, it got some pretty good stuff going for it, if I recall correctly. Right, this time we've actually got the dynamo on our... Oh yeah, I should probably remember to pick this stuff up too. Oh, nice. That's a really good physical set for it. And being a rock type, I imagine that Heavy Slam is grossly powerful. Oh, there's still more dudes here. Whoops. Completely unnecessary, but that's okay. We applied the acid effect to one of the dudes inside the crate. I wonder if you can kill them when they're in the crate. And if it just causes the game issues or something. That'd be fun. Pulls it away. The thing drops to the ground. Forward we go. Why did you? That's a weird thing to... Especially for it being a letter Q, but eh. Because you're weird, that's why. Put it very simply. Oh, nice, the one shot. Yeah, so the upgraded mini nuke is 1.5 mil for a good fucking reason. Jesus. That's just an entire nuclear missile. Alright, there we go. We are pretty close to the hypnomatic part. We're also kind of running low on shots for this, which I'd like to get to a shop then to restock. Yeah. Okay, here we are. Almost. Oh hey, that thing actually took damage for the electric fence. Try to do Titans and gyms at around the same pace. Duly noted. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. There goes my multiplier. Oh well. Grab this thing. At least that time I only lost times 2. Gotcha. Right, because I assume it's a hard limit, right? Instead of just outside Pokemon. And possibly even just restricting you from using them in general. I think that might have been a thing in Sword and Shield. I never ran into the level limits on those, but I assume it's an actual, like, major concern, basically. Yeah, there you go. That is a thing that I believe I had read was added in Sword and Shield. But I didn't quite... Okay, so if it's just... Yeah. Right, so it's like a regular outsider Pokemon type of situation, except it's your own Pokemon. Yeah, I remember seeing that was a thing that was added in Sword and Shield. Seeing secondhand, as I sort of indicated, because I didn't really run into that in my own playthroughs, but I had read about it, so yeah. Yeah, you can technically have them on your team, it's just not such a good idea. Because a Pokemon that you can't control what moves it's using worth a shit is probably going to be a bit of a liability. Made to regret having them on your team. Yeah, exactly. The first time it's accurate to the anime. And right when they potentially aren't doing that anymore. I think there are certain things like that that should be allowed to be toggled on and off and not forced on you, but, you know, yeah, making you have to deal with that does kind of bite. I'm very much in favor, just in general, of like, hey, give the players a lot of options for these games, because... That thing die already? Huh. That's weird. No, I still hear it going. Oh, it was right on top of me. And of course, they fire faster the closer they are to you, like a bunch of jerks. Yeah, like, whatever happened to the difficulty settings from Black and White 2? I mean, those were not necessarily well implemented because you had to beat the game in order to access them anyway. But on a very general level, just, hey, that was not a bad idea to have a difficulty setting for your Pokemon games. And then they just decided not to do it. Then again, Game Freak just did not gracefully enter the 3D period at all on certain levels, so... Yeah, that is probably also true. I'm sure there will be some interesting stuff in terms of competitive, especially once Pokemon Home functionality comes in. Because I did read up some of the small amount of stuff on Smogon for Gen 9. And someone did bring up that, yeah, once that happens, something else might have Last Respects, pardon me. It's like, what the hell is the name of that move? But y'all know what I'm talking about. The thing that Houndstone has that's really absolutely completely disgusting. And that's a pretty good point. Oh, Gigaton Hammer. 160 base power. Nice. Yeah. That's something that's got to be kind of exploitable in some way. Plus, it's Steel Fairy, which is really good. If they allow you to pass attack boosts, which I am kind of like, I don't see that being a thing, but if so, I mean, that's the easy one right there. Just beat it, and there you go. Right, it has a special clause that stops you from using it twice in a row. which is kind of weird, but hey, that's one way to make it work. Yeah, because 75 base power will actually just has a good base stat total all around, I'm pretty sure. But I say 75 is a lot more attack than regular Mawile had, but I don't know if that's actually true. Because mentally I'm like, wait a second, no, that doesn't make sense. Mawile not being like a 100 base attack or something type of Pokemon, just garbage stats elsewhere, seems a little weird. But you know what? I can look it up while we're in the middle of this. Mawile, what have you got for your attack stat here? 85, pardon me. So, yeah. Banned from Net. Shedinja getting banned from NetDex OU. Oh boy. Oh right, that would be a problem. I think at the very least it would be vulnerable to like Sandstorm and other forms of special damage that are not moves, but yeah. Swapping out subs. Yeah. Right, because Shed-Tail is a half HP, one half of your max HP sub too, right? So on the right Pokemon, Shed-Tail, it seems like a really grossly good move. Oh, I'm surprised it's not already. Unless it just has the shittiest distribution possible. Anyway, we're back to our favorite level, by the way. Remember when I was stuck here for like an hour looking for just one of these fucking crystals? Because I sure do. Nice. Oh wow, that's pretty nice. That's a thing they just give to something that you can get for free. Makes sense to me. Yeah, we discussed that in a recent stream that they did do that at least, so they finally are nerfing some of the heal moves a little bit. And like I said at the time, you know, good on them for at least recognizing that a little bit. And oh yeah, I gotta re-equip my things. Weather War's coming back heavily. I could believe it. That seems completely plausible. Alright. Give this guy his weird rocks. Yeah, since Snow is it's a Titan. Yeah. Snow is... I forget how this works. Let's take a look here. Lasts for 5 turns, created with Snow Warning or Snowscape. 8 turns created by Pokemon with an Icy Rock, blah, 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 blah. Raises the defense stat of all Ice-type Pokemon by 50%. And that's about it. Does it add anything else other than... Because Hail is just did damage, right? Well, I mean, it had all those tweaks. Okay, yeah, it still allows Blizzard to bypass accuracy check. And use Aurora Veil. So I think... I could certainly see Snow being a thing that is... Oh, yeah, it's got Slush Rush. Yeah, so... Hail will be good for... Or, Hail, pardon me. Snow will be good for a lot of Pokemon that are already really good ice types. And, like, anything that has Slush Rush will like that. Oh, that seems like quite a lot of, that's a pretty nasty bit of support for ice stuff. Yeah, that's gonna be, one thing that oh wow, that was a fast cutout there. There's not a lot of Slush Rush Pokemon that are special attackers, I don't think. I mean, I guess Arctozolt can be sort of a mixed attacker. Probably not your best use of it. Arctovish is definitely a physical attacker, though, isn't it? Just barely. Yeah, like, yeah, so... That's one thing that is probably gonna make being like, oh, hey, I'm gonna do an Ice-type team be a little bit less sick nasty than you'd want, but it's still pretty great. The way it's set up is just kind of disgusting right now. Yeah, but yes, there is that a lot of Slush Rushers are not super fast. I was looking at a couple of them, I was like, oh yeah, Bayardic, that... I know that Bayardic is potentially something that could be kind of gross, but only 50 base speed. Like, even with Slush Rush, you're basically just base 100, kind of. Not quite. The math is a little bit funkier than that. Yeah, like, I don't think it's gonna get to the upper echelons of being, like, a usable partner for anything that sets Snow, because it's too damn slow. But on the other hand, it has a usable defense stat that would become really good in Snow, and it has 130 base attack. That it's just like, wow, that sounds good. Oh right, 50 base speed. Oh right, Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner removes terrain? That's not what I expected, but still. Base 80, 100 accuracy. Yeah, what? It's amazing to me that it took Ice that long to get that, because it feels like even Rock type, which is the king of attacking types, has had that for a while. Do these guys even increase my multiplier? Yes, they do. Okay. I don't know if they drop bolts when they die. No, it looks like they do. So at least we got that going for us. This room should be a good source of money. Rock types are always in a very weird position. Because rock, in and of itself, is probably the most useful attacking type. Like, if I recall correctly, rock hits the most types for super effective damage, or tied for it, with, inside of that bracket, the fewest number of things resisted or immune to it. But defensively, rock type is not really tremendous. Oh, fuck you, game. I can't believe I got shot through the door while it was being opened. That seems a little bit... And it was opening downwards, too. That's not great. But, yes, rock type defensively is not great. And they gave it some Sandstorm-specific buffs. Like, it gets bonus special defense in Sandstorm. But it's like, oh, well, that's not very much. I would say that pretty much every rock-type Pokemon is stab aside, held back by the fact that it's a rock type. Like, surely Tyranitar doesn't necessarily care about the defensive benefits of being a rock type, but it definitely doesn't want the downside of being weak to surf, or double weak to fighting. Yeah, you do also have to be concerned about that because it's a percentage boost. Like, I think Gigalith is something that can stand up to a relatively decent amount of abuse and sets its own Sandstorm. But that's a rare instance of that. Right, in terms of, like, design in a lot of ways, there isn't really a lot of reason to have... You know, if Rock-type didn't exist, basically, as in... If Rock-type Pokemon didn't exist as, you know, as an offensive thing, it wouldn't change what kind of Pokemon could exist. Anything that's currently a rock would just be easily filed underground. And all of them would prefer to be ground, or just ground, as the case may be. You know, Rhydon being rock hasn't done favors for it since 1999, for example. Right, that is more what I meant, which, you know, maybe I should have said it a different way, but, you know, it's the idea that after, you know, in every Pokemon game after that, Rhydon being a rock type has not helped it, but in the competitive meta of Gen 1, it does help it out a lot because normal type moves are all over the place, and, of course, the big three of Gen 1 OU are all normal types that, for the most part, use ridiculously powerful body slams to punish punish anybody who stands in their way, basically. Because, hey, fighting type, what the fuck was that back in Gen 1? Technically it existed, but only kind of. Well, it's because normal just seems so normal. Which sounds real stupid to say, but it doesn't seem special to be using the normal types, and there's so many of them, and they aren't really strong against anything defensively. I mean, yeah, they're immune to Ghost, but this is Gen 1 Ghost we're talking about. And then their attacks aren't super effective against anything and are resisted by rock, which, you know, the game makes you think about the rock type basically right off the bat by foisting Brock in front of you as the first gym leader. But ultimately, it's actually just kind of the best overall, because having no true weaknesses that matter, or, you know, downsides, we'll say that instead of weakness to be a coverall, makes it a far better type in a lot of ways. With only Psychic really having any claim to being a better type. And to be fair, Psychic types definitely hogged the spotlight pretty severely at that period in Pokemon history. Which is best of launch titles, which is... See, I'm pretty sure you're trying to say that it's like they sold the most out of any game launch, that they've had the best the best sales yet. But when you say it that way, it sounds different, which is kind of funny in and of itself. What I'm trying to get at. Anyway, so yeah, Fighting and Poison absolutely got kind of shafted in the first generation. I will absolutely agree with that. Fighting, by virtue of having nothing on both the move and Pokemon front of real note. Well, I guess there's also the problem of, oh hey, Psychics exist, but there aren't really a lot of good fighting type Pokemon. I mean, I guess Machamp is decent, and I want to like a lot of the others, but let's be honest here, the options are not necessarily gonna, you know, take your breath away, regardless of whether or not you're dealing with Psychic types. Yeah, Machamp is not high tier by virtue of, well, first of all, I'm pretty sure it has a really terrible moveset. And second of all, it's pretty slow. And thirdly, well, hey, Psychics, if it, you know, the Psychic type is just everywhere in the game. Or in the metagame anyway. And all of those are strong enough that in tiers where the big boys are banned, a lot of the less evolved versions of them get used. Like if Alakazam is banned, Kadabra will get into that tier. Well, yeah, I mean, there's also link cable related woes, and that being a thing. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking, you know, if that's not an object for you, which if you're on Showdown, well, obviously, which, you know, again, competitive stuff. But, yeah. The fighting type had poor availability, not a whole lot of moves. Karate Chop was a normal attack, which is kind of a load of old pants, really, and there were just Psychic types causing them problems. Poison is something where the sheer widespreadness of it becomes detrimental, because again, there's enough things that have Psychic type damage anyway that it becomes a problem. Yeah. Right. I'm just counting that out because again, I'm just looking at the stat stuff, but yeah, it is a real issue if you're looking at it from the perspective of trying to collect all the Pokemon or just get your just get the Pokemon you want onto your team. That is an issue. It's just not so much one right now. But yeah, poison was so prevalent that even the Pokemon that, in theory, and again, that requires a lot of asterisks around it, even the Pokemon in theory that should have looked like the best counter to Psychics, that being the Gengar line, which obviously there were a lot of problems there, even that's poison type. So even if Game Freak had made this thing, if they hadn't screwed up the type effectiveness for a Psychic and Ghost, and if they'd given you a good Ghost move that played off of Gengar's better attacking stats, then you absolutely still would probably look at that and then look over at Alakazam and be like, I don't think this is as even of a matchup as I've been led to believe. Unfortunately, the best Ghost-type attacking move in that generation was Nightshade. And even after that, up until Diamond and Pearl, they had the issue, well, sometimes issue anyway, of being physical moves instead of special. Which is great if you're using something like Banette. If you're using Gengar and you're looking at Shadow Ball, you might reconsider. Did I not get the... Yeah, I mean, it was a good move. It's just that it was physical damage, which is kinda, it's good for other Pokemon. It's just that Gengar looks at it and goes, oh man, this could be so much better. Alright, Oil Derek, there we go. Well, I guess it wouldn't be one of my streams if I didn't fuck up at least one thing. Right. Because, yeah, Mewtwo gets a lot of advertisement. A lot of eyeballs. Oh, and here come these jerkwads. Oh, real? Hey, buddy. Nice fucking taser. You're going after the wrong furball here. Oh, wow. Alright. Way to be jerks. Although I guess they are this late in the game, the enemies probably should be a little jerky. We're going this way, basically, just because I'm going to unlock the Hypnomatic Salesman and then go back for the Hypnomatic part. The idea was, in theory, to preserve my multiplier because you can take actual hits on the grind course. Unfortunately, you can see just how well that worked. by the fact that the taser bots got here much sooner than I was expecting. Oh, fuck. Wow. That just adheres to you so easily. Alright. Grappling hook time. Oh, fuck me. I guess I don't need this multiplier, apparently. Speaking of multiplier, geez, these guys. Get out of here already. Come on. Got me some slack, game. It's never gonna do that, that's for sure. And we're dead. Wow. Maybe it would be a smart idea for me to get that armor upgrade. It's probably why I'm not going to do it. Oh well. We died of regular damage, so I'm going to go and do the grind course. After I restock on ammunition, of course. Ooh, boy. That's right. I forgot about that section being like that. That genuinely had me quite nervous. I mean, it's fine if that happens. I just, you know. Oh no, I get to restart something that I've made barely any progress on. What a travesty. I thought the camera angle was going to turn sooner. That sucked. And we'll let this play out because I like the little Jack and Daxter callback.
Sorry.
The friendship between Insomniac and Naughty Dog lives on. As ever. Alright, heavy bouncer for dealing with the little gremlins. Should take them out a little faster. Alright, mini nuke for the big boys. Because, yeah, the damage on it is just so high in this mode. And we're up to 15 times. That's pretty good. All right. We get both of those? Yeah, I think we got all the taser bots. All right. Swing shot. Oh boy, I'm surprised we kept that. Meanwhile, the ass taser bot is out for my blood. And the rest of me too, probably. Shit, well, that's an embarrassing way to lose that. Oh, they still coming? Yeah, they're still... Finally all dead? No? How many do I keep missing here? Sheesh. There we go. Well, yeah. At the time, of course, they were shilling Lucario a little bit by, you know, across the entire franchise anyway, not specifically like Smash Brothers or anything. This is just me saying that Lucario was sort of the in thing for the Pokemon franchise for a bit. Let's restock while we're over here. And yeah. Oh, did we manage to get that ship? That'd be pretty cool if we did. You dick. Right, that's what I'm saying, is that Lucario... I mean, Lucario is... It's a fine Pokemon. When I say shill, I don't want it to sound like, oh, Lucario is a piece of shit, although... It probably did get a lot more attention than you would normally expect it to, at least, but that's only a matter of normal expectations. That yeah, they definitely kind of locked onto it and they pushed it a little. They pushed it more than most other Pokemon. Like even above and beyond the starters of Gen 4, I would say it was probably the Pokemon that, or at least it feels like it was the Pokemon that got the most attention on the part of TPCI, not even necessarily like, oh, the fan base really latched onto Lucario, because, I mean, yeah, they did, but that only says so much. They don't determine, you know, if the fans got everything they wanted, well, for one thing, I would have stopped fucking playing years ago, but second of all, it would, you know, things would be a lot different just in general. But yeah, there was definitely a push to sort of replicate it with Zoroark, because Zoroark just looks like a very similar Pokemon, but it definitely missed out on a few things, and unsurprisingly, it was not as beloved as a result. Zoroark's momentum certainly suffered a super sudden death. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, right, there's one last room of these fuckers. That's right. I remember now. Don't particularly like it, but I do remember. May not be able to... Yeah, we're gonna have to... where do we start? All the way back here. Wow. That's... way far back. Alright, let's pick up the Clank Zapper. The Clank Zapper is a pretty interesting piece of gear here. We're going to put that on our quick select over the Dynamo. We're going to put it over that, actually. And the Clank Zapper, not unlike all the other stuff that we've had before, this is sort of an autonomous, if it feels like working. Yeah, it takes a bit to work, but it's sort of a fire and forget type of situation where you can just activate it and it'll just do its thing. Its damage is absolute balls as far as I can tell. But it can be upgraded and it'll do more damage. And again, hey, you get that into a boss fight, you activate the shield charger, the Clank Zapper, the Synthenoids. You've got a lot of support and a lot of extra damage on your side. And overall, I do kind of like that as a setup. I just wish that they would have given this to you much sooner in the game, because honestly, it kind of needs it. Because otherwise it's just borderline worthless. Ah, yes, good. Keep shooting the mailbox. That's what we need. Actually, I think we're about to kill it, right? We were pretty close, too, and then something else blew it up. Even gain experience for that? I don't think we did, almost. Yeah. Yeah, this really does want you to have a lot more money than I had starting out, and... basically, in short, we're not going to be getting everything today, I guess. We'll at least try to get to the end to pick up the Hypnomatic, but that's as much as we're going to be able to manage out of this, I think. Oh, I forgot to grab Vaporizer ammo. That's okay. That should handle that. Alright, Zodiac time. And that killed like none of those guys because of how they were positioned. Nice. Love when the game rewards you for using all of your inventory. Alright, we should probably clear these dudes out too. There we go. Now, if we weren't having such a terrible time with dodging any of these hits, we would probably be better off, but unfortunately, that's not going to be such a thing. Oh, these fucking grenades. Jesus. Man. Although that said, we're getting pretty close to that time. I may just shut it down. And like I said, we're going to probably do something else on Friday. We got pretty close to showing off 100%, but it would just be a lot more grinding. Who wants to see all that on stream? Alright, Clank Zapper. It would probably help if I also remembered to stock up on my long-range stuff. Because otherwise, yeah, I've just gotten myself into a position again where I have, like, nothing to take out the guards. Pick this all up. What's that? $650 for the upgraded version of that? That's pretty disgusting. Alright, rifle. 400k to upgrade the sniper rifle. Okay, so we're here again. Let's clear out this bottom floor, which it looks like we're managing to pull off pretty quickly. At the very least, we got that going for us. And then we've got Yeah, we got the guys upstairs to worry about. Zoom in. Two, three. Four. And it's dead. Well, that makes things a little bit easier for me. Hey, wow, that time it didn't take a full set of vaporizer ammo. So I guess the shock mod does damage to the thing that gets hit, too, which basically means that it's probably just an upgrade to the acid mod, relatively speaking. Which will be a real reason why nothing is, I just didn't think to re-add a backseat gaming allowed tag. I didn't put in no backseating, so I think that hopefully that gets the idea across that it's like, well, I'm not going to drop the hammer too badly. Because, well, I'm not going to drop the hammer too badly, but, you know, maybe it doesn't to everybody. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess fair enough. And this is like... No, this isn't quite the last Terminator thing. There's one in the Megacorp headquarters. I forgot about that, because I remember commenting on that at the time, that it was like, oh, hey, it's really weird, because that's not a Megacorp thing, and yet the puzzle is incorporating... whatever. Lore, etc. The moment as I sit here with all this sweet Ratchet and Clank lore. I still haven't played Link Between Worlds, now that you mentioned that. There's the Switch. But really, the joke of me bringing that up is just the fact that I don't really think anybody is that deeply invested in the lore of Ratchet and Clank. And also, of course, the fact that most of the world building really is just kind of based on comedy and being funny more than anything. So... I'm making a weird gesture of just swinging my controller at the wrist, and that's not really communicating anything to you, especially when you can't see it. But you know something? Because I don't know anything, that's where we're going with that. Pick these up. Right, that's definitely a thing that you know, you've got a lot of games that are trying to tell a story but don't really have a whole lot going on there, so at least this does have a lot more than that, but like I said, the amount of people out there who are like secretly huge Ratchet and Clank lore heads I don't expect is very big. But hey, the people who play video games, there's people who get into all kind of weird stuff about any game series, so hey. Maybe, right? Anyway. Yeah, I guess maybe I have to do the rest of 100% off camera and post what the last things are on YouTube or something. I don't know. Eh.